Hi guys, it's Carolyn. Welcome back.
Hi guys, this time I'll be doing a very different vlog. So I decided to share with you guys how I make my own homemade lasagna. Usually I like to start off with onion. I usually use the red or maroon looking onion. I feel like it has more flavor than the typical white one. So I start off by like dicing my onion like really finely, well, as fine as I can get it. After dicing the amount of onion that I need, I go on to peel one large potato and then I grate it down with the medium-sized grater size. And I think this like adds a sense of like creaminess to my mince, which you'll see later on in this video. Just be careful not to hurt yourselves, guys. I tend to grate my fingers, to be honest. It's quite painful, so. I also went on to grate my carrots, which I didn't vlog. I don't know why, but then I also go on to use my peppers. I like to use a variety of colors. The green one is like typical in every African household, so that's like a staple. I start off with like cutting the green ones, then I also go on to cut the red and the yellow. It does add a lot of flavor to the mince as well as like texture. Also, because I have kids, I would like to include some veggies into their meals. So this is a easier way to just get vegetables into a very, I can't even say if it's like unhealthy, but yeah, you just want to incorporate as much veggies as you can in their meals. And this way I know that they don't really taste that it's veggies and they just enjoy it. However, my kids don't really give me problems when it comes to vegetables. They really love their veggies, but sometimes I like to like hide the veggies so that they don't even realize that it's vegetables. Okay, after chopping up all my vegetables, I preheat my pan and use some extra virgin olive oil. I also like to make sure that it's like very hot before putting in your veggies. So yeah, don't mind how my pan looks, guys. Trust me, this is my favorite pan and it shows. I then add my onion into the oil when it's hot. And you just want to like brown the onions a little bit. Just a little, not too much. And please don't burn them because it's gonna taste burnt. So you don't want to do that. Okay, just to add in some flavor, I use the curry powder raja, the purple one and the yellow one as well. This is just to like add flavor, honestly. I don't usually like to cook with a lot of spices, but for this particular meal, I do use a lot of spices. Well, I think it's a lot. But you add that in just to get the like the aroma and like the flavor into the onions. I then go on and open up my mince. I like to use lean mince. I don't even really know the difference between lean mince and like whatever else mince there is, but I like this mince because like it has flavor in my opinion, and it's just easier to cook. So I pour it there in like the onion, and you just want to brown the mince up a little bit and like cook it thoroughly, making sure that it's thoroughly cooked. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that it's fully brown all over. So you're just going to keep tossing it in the pan, making sure that it's brown and it's cooked thoroughly, and you want to make it more fine. Once the mince is thoroughly cooked and brown all over, what you're going to do is you're going to add some spice. And for this one I use the Brian Grill spice from Robertson's and some 6 gun. Yeah, I said I don't use a lot of spice, but I do in this one. So you add that in there to add flavor and to bring out the beefiness of the mince. And you just like, you know, toss it in there, make sure that the flavor is absorbed fully by the mince. Taste test. Okay, so as soon as my mince is thoroughly cooked, I moved it over to another bowl, and I use the exact same pan that I used to cook my beef. My mince. I'm gonna use it to cook my vegetables. So what I start off with, I add my onion into the pot, and then I use some rama or butter just to add a little bit of like creaminess, and also it like brings out the flavor in the onion. I don't know what it is about rama and onion, but it smells so good. Then I added my chopped peppers, my red, yellow, and green peppers in there. So peppers tend to make their own juices within the pot itself. Like when they get heat, they get juices. So I know that my veggies are gonna cook very well. So I like toss them in there, making sure that they're fully cooked. Just before they're fully cooked, I also add my carrots in there. So what I want to do is I don't want to get my carrots to be fully cooked to the point where it's dead and it loses all the nutrients, but instead I just want it to be a little bit softer. I then also add my shredded potato in there. So the shredded potato is going to definitely add that creaminess and that, I don't even know what it's called, the starchiness to the vegetables, but it tastes good. So I'm just going to let that cook in there and like toss it in there. And then I also added this Aladdin's magic spice. It really goes very well with vegetables. I got it from my mom, so I don't really know what spices are in there, but it tastes good. That's all you need to know. I also went on to add some vegetable stock instead of like just adding water, especially because I was cooking for the whole family. If it was just for me, I wouldn't add this many spices, but I know my family likes tasting their food unlike me, so I added some vegetable stock. It'll add flavor to the veggies as well. Yeah, just overall taste, you know. So I went on to just close the pot and let the heat cook the veggies well. Letting the veggies cook, I added back the mince, and guys, listen, I love tomato sauce, so I put it in almost everything I cook. So I added some tomato sauce and just I don't know how to pronounce it, but that sauce, the brown thing that you see there, yeah, I added that. Apparently it brings out the flavor in beef and meat and stuff, so I just added that. While the mince and the veggies together were simmering, I went on to add butter to a pot, let it melt, and then I added my flour. So what I'm creating here is that I want to make a cheesy sauce for the lasagna. I usually do this, but like I definitely use the different method this time because I didn't have all the ingredients. Like for instance, the flour that I usually use is multi-purpose flour. This time I use cake wheat flour. It also does the same thing, honestly. And then because I'm lactose, I usually add some water first before adding some milk into that mixture. So what you want to do is keep stirring so that everything is mixed properly, and like, you know, then you add a little bit of like salt, not too much, because trust me, you will taste it if it's too much. Then of course you have to add some pepper for taste. What I use here is ground pepper, and you can also add some Italian herbs or whatever herbs that you like into this mixture. It tastes really good. Okay, and here, this is where my improvisation came in. Listen, I did not have Gouda cheese or whatever. I just used regular old Pamalat sliced cheese, and I placed it in there. It still tasted good. It's a cheesy sauce, but usually the best cheese to use is like Parmesan or Gouda cheese, you know, those fancy cheeses, but my method works for me. And you want to mix it thoroughly, making sure that the sauce is not clumpy. The next thing you want to do is you want to put some non-stick spray onto the surfaces of the dishes that you're going to use to bake the lasagna. This will help to like let the food not to adhere to the bottom. Alright, so the first layer that you want to put is the sauce. This is important. It will give a barrier between the dish and your pasta. Okay, so what I use is this bolognese, what is it called? The spaghetti bolognese sauce. I love the sauce. I swear by it. It tastes so good. So usually you are supposed to cook it, but because it's already gonna go in the oven, I didn't cook it. I just placed it as it is, and that's my first layer that I'm gonna put into the dishes. So what you want to do is like just create a thin, evenly placed layer all around, especially like on the sides as well. This will just make it easier for you when you like dishing up and like taking out the lasagna from the dish. Trust me, it makes a difference. Next up, you want to take out your pasta sheets. Okay, so dependent on what pasta sheets you use, the ones I used don't need you to pre-cook them. They are par-cooked and then they bake as you put them in the oven. So mine are like semi-raw, and yeah. You can use Maggiano's or whatever brand name that you want to use. So that's going to be the first layer on top of the sauce that you're going to use. So mine were like a little bit broken from the box. So listen, I don't waste food. I'm gonna use them. It's still pasta. It's going to be messed up in your tummy anyway. So I use the broken bits at the bottom. Yeah, don't judge me. Okay, then immediately after placing the sheets of pasta, you want to add your mince, and you want to make sure that you level it up and press it down, because when it cooks you want the juices to be like in between the sheets of pasta. And yes, it's still hot, which is still okay. Yeah, you just want to make sure that you place it evenly all across and you flatten it so that there's like not spaces in between the layers. The next layer you're going to add is that you want to add the cheesy sauce, making sure to do the same thing that you did with the mince, and then you add also the spaghetti bolognese sauce as well. Make sure to mix the two right into each other. This adds like a little bit of like, you want to create layers. That's what you want to do. You want to create layers, and that's what you're doing with the sauces as well. Making sure that the pasta sheets get the juiciness and the moistness to cook thoroughly. On top of that, you want to add some more pasta sheets as well. Okay, so like I said, you are making layers. So you can make your own layers. I don't know what else you would like to add in there. You can add broccoli if you would like, anything else. But my main layer composition was that you add sauce, pasta sheets, mince, white sauce or cheesy sauce, more spaghetti bolognese sauce, sheets again, and repeat. That's literally it. Okay, so like I said earlier, I don't have grated cheese, but I did use the Pamalat cheese slices. I add that on top. So the last layer that you want to add is the mince and the sauce, and then you add cheese. And for me, I like to add some feta cheese on top just to garnish, you know, add a little flavor. And then you want to cover it up and wrap it up with some foil in order for it to go into the oven. So this is very important. Please make sure to preheat your oven. Make sure that it's preheated. This makes all the difference. And what you want to do is you want to set the timer for 45 minutes, and that's how long it needs to bake for. Make sure your oven is hot. Literally all you had to do. There is your lasagna, all delicious and hot. So what I like to do is use like a fork or something just to test out if all the layers were cooked thoroughly. So what you want to do is you want to stick the fork in there and make sure that it's like soft. You don't want it hard because then that means the pasta was not thoroughly cooked and you need to place it back in the oven. So mine was perfectly cooked, and I'm just double checking because I really don't like al dente pasta sheets in my lasagna. So yeah. Okay, so another little extra thing that I just like to do, like that's just a preference, I like to take back the lasagna into the oven and just like grill the top, make it crispy for maybe like 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how fast yours cooks.
Okay guys, that brings us to the end of this vlog. Please make sure you click that like button, hit that notification bell, and comment down below if you want us to stay in touch. Bye!